Okay, hello, it's me, Sierra, and it's been a minute, but I keep telling and trying to encourage myself to start making some content because I am closer to having transplant, and a lot of people, um, some people are aware, some people aren't. But I said in another video, if you've seen it on my YouTube channel, that I wanted to be very transparent about doing transplant for the second time. And kind of talks about like my mom being my donor this time, having a haplo transplant, like all those like details, which we may get some more into that. I may touch on that some more, but now I just want to kind of talk about where I am as we speak in the journey, because there's been a lot going on, and every time I'm at the doctor I always have in mind that I want to record, but I'm always so overwhelmed because there's a lot going on. There's been a ton of stuff going on. People want to know how I'm doing, so I want to try to give y'all updates, and I really want to try to be quick. I don't want to talk for an hour. But so as of right now, I have the official clearance that I'm going to have transplant. So initially we started talking about me having official clearance to have transplant. Maybe about a month and a half ish ago. And what that requires is there's lots of crossing T's and dotting I's. And so one of the things that we found in trying to do that was I was having some liver enzyme inflammation. So that was causing my liver levels. When they did a lot of blood work, they test for everything. And when I say everything, I mean like sexually transmitted diseases, like everything. They test for everything. So my liver levels were high, and they had kind of been trending probably even before they did that, where they were kind of high. So we had to figure out what was going on with my liver, what was causing the liver inflammation. And it could have been a couple things. GVHD, which is graft versus host disease. I'm not going to go all into that, but it's basically where, because I've had transplant from my dad before, almost 2 years ago now, my body can reject his cells or his marrow. So that's a possibility. I don't want to get too far down off in the weeds about GVHD, but I'll probably do some content about that another time. But GVHD is one of them. Drug-induced liver issues is one. And there's a couple other reasons. So we want to make the long story short. I have been at the doctor over the past few weeks a lot. We've been doing a lot of testing. I've probably had 2. At this point, I've actually had maybe 4 CT scans of my abdomen. I've had an ultrasound of my abdomen. At this point I can't even remember all the tests I've had, but those are some of the more prominent ones that can think of right now. So, and I had to have, after they did all that and they really couldn't find anything, the liver specialist along with my transplant team decided that I should have a liver biopsy. So I did that last week, and what that looks like is they insert a needle into my stomach, and they pull out a little piece of my liver to biopsy it. So, and I knew, because my levels have been low since really before I had transplant last time, I knew they had prepared me to spend the night at the hospital so they can monitor me, because my platelet levels are low. One of the main things that run low, that I could bleed from this procedure. So we did that last Tuesday, and last Tuesday from the time I'm recording this video. I don't know when you're going to get it, not really going to get into a lot of editing because really right now I just want to focus on the content. We'll see where this channel goes, if it's really worth me like putting all kinds of like pops and icons and things like that. Like, that's not really what I'm focused on right now. I just want to get you all this content and get the content to people that kind of want to know what this journey looks like. So they did the liver biopsy, and I was told and under the impression and prepared to stay for one night. Well, that one night turned out to be 2 nights and almost 3 days, because I didn't get discharged from the hospital until maybe like 4 or 5 on that last Thursday. So because I did, as they were monitoring me, I did had a little bit of bleeding. And so, they kept monitoring, like it's just a lot that goes into this. And I just want people to be very aware of like what this looks like. Like, my arms are beat up because they were having to draw blood every 4 hours. So, I did not get any sleep. So my sleep schedule is very off as we speak right now. And it stinks because I start chemo next week and I really wanted to get my house together. And I've kind of started to do some stuff. But like this week, I've just been off. Like, my sleep has been off. So I've been napping a lot throughout the day, which causes me to be up late at night. And it's just a whole mess. Like I said, they were drawing lots of blood. That also entails of, something that I'll probably put more of a focus on, like with nurses. And I would like to maybe get some nurses on here to talk with me. But, a lot of nurses had some trouble, like, drawing my blood. And, they have trouble starting IVs because some of you may know, like, I'm at the doctor's office every week, sometimes multiple times in a week, depending on what's going on. So, lots of my arms are so beat up right now. And, I was in the hospital. Like I said, I had to have a CT, once they did notice that I was starting to lose my blood counts were starting to drop. And so they did a CT or whatever, or ultrasound. I'm sorry. Initially, they did an ultrasound to see if there was any blood, like if they could find any blood, and they did. It wasn't significant, but there was some post procedure. And so then they took me to they said, okay, we're going to keep you another night, continue to observe, continue to stick you. And they did that. And then if it's dropped some more, then we're going to send you back. And so that really just took an emotional toll on me, because it's like bad news after bad news. But I managed. My stepmom was there pretty much every day. My dad was there every day. Champ came the last day because this time, so when I had transplant last time, because I think I was so scared, Champ is my comfort zone. So he was there for everything. And I felt like it was like, obviously I know I want him to be there, and as a relationship, that that's expected. But like, when we've had conversations, he's always mentioned, like, I wish you would have allowed more people to help me. And so this time I want to kind of try to give him somewhat of a break and allow some of my other family to help more. So this time, my dad's also my comfort zone too. So him and my stepmom were there pretty much around the clock while I was in the hospital. And so that was good and much, much appreciated. Thank you to both of them if they watch this. But that last night, I had the scan. My blood levels didn't drop that much, so that was promising. But then they wanted to check they wanted me to have a CT scan that morning just to make sure, and they did. My doctors and my team take really good care of me, so shout out to them. And so I went down for the CT scan. We didn't see anything, so I got the clearance to go be discharged. So that was great. And what I do want to talk about are some new experiences that I had, because at Vanderbilt, there's like a floor specifically for like transplant patients and like, you know, kind of like cancer patients, but mostly like patients that are having transplant and, you know, of various kinds or whatever. So this time, what I do want to share in this video is some new experiences that I had that I was really excited about. So my stepmom, and this is one of this reason, and what I'm going to tell you is why I'm doing this channel. So while I was up there, my stepmom was coming to visit me. I'm on a walk because, you know, this encourages me to walk and talk, but I will be honest. Another side note before I get into the story time is my stomach, I have not had a menstrual cycle in over 2 years. Probably about a year ago, I bled a little bit, but it really wasn't a cycle. My body has not been producing hormones with everything that I'm got going on. So right now, I think my body's kind of confused. I'm not having a cycle, but I am cramping so badly. So my stomach's hurting. So if you kind of see my face looking a little like wincy or whatever, that's what it is. So I'm going to go back home because I've taken a decent little walk, but my stomach is just, you know, whatever. So back to story time. So I'm doing this because one day when my stepmom was coming up to visit me, she ran into a lady on the elevator. I never met this lady, but this lady found out that her spouse was diagnosed with cancer. And so I guess they rushed them to Vanderbilt, and he has a very similar leukemia to me, and she, you know, like your life can change. This kind of stuff can come up like in the blink of an eye. Like anyone's life can be changed. And so their life was. So they rushed him to Vanderbilt. They have like small children. And she was just like deer in the headlights. Called my stepmom in the elevator and was just asking her a lot of questions, wondering if she was essentially there for the same reason. And so she told her, like, I have no idea. We have no idea. Like, you know, what's your family member here for? She told her. And so my stepmom offered, you know, to help, to assist. If they need anything, let us know. They exchanged numbers. So I do plan to probably try to reach out and connect with them so I can be a resource. But that's a big reason why I'm doing this channel, because people don't know. Like, they have no idea what this looks like, what this means for their family, you know. So these kinds of things are very, very important to me. And then that instance happened, and I was really empowered and inspired. And then as I want to decorate my room when I'm there, because I think it'll really help my mood, because last time I was there I kind of had an episode of just freak out, and so I'm like, okay, I need something to kind of lighten the mood. So I want to decorate my room. So my stepmom had saw like these paper flowers, and she was like, oh, you should come out of your room, because I had pretty much been in the bed the entire time I was there, and there's a room, somebody next to you, that they've got like paper flowers up. So I was like, okay. So on, I think it was actually the last day I was there, finally get out of my room and go look next door, and I'm like, y'all probably don't want to see me this close up, but whatever. Go look, and she's got the pepper flowers, and as I'm coming out, I've got like this biscuit, and I'm gonna warm it up. And so this lady is coming out of the room, and I'm like, oh, hi. So I'm explaining to her like that I'm looking at these flowers, whatever. And you know, it's like, she told me like that it looked like the room is decorated on the inside. And I said, you know, I'm preparing to have transplant in a couple weeks, so wanted to get an idea, blah, blah. So we ended up talking for a very long time. I think I was at least in the hallway. It felt like I was out there for an hour, but at least for 30 minutes talking to this lady. And what she shared with me was she was there visiting from Kentucky, her best friend's daughter. That is a very young lady, and she has the accelerated version of my cancer, which is AML. And so AML, and they thought I had AML, so I'm very, very grateful and blessed that it turned out that I didn't have AML. But she was there for that, had been there for well over a month, while they were trying to get her numbers back in healthy range and just care for her. And she's younger, much younger than me. So it really just touched my heart. And so, I was talking to her about some resources, because obviously I work at Vanderbilt and things like that. And she was like, oh, I'd really love for you to meet her. Sorry, I'm walking up this hill, kind of thinking this was a bad idea, because it's a little bit of a struggle with my stomach, but we're going to power through. But yeah, so we talked for a long time. And so she was like, and ended up walking down actually to the break room together. She heated up her coffee. She was getting ready to go back home to Kentucky. And she was like, she normally wakes up around 12. I love if you meet her. So stood outside, talked for a little longer. And then I saw the person in the bed raise up. And so I was like, oh, that must be her. So I go in, we talk. I'm in their room for about an hour while I'm waiting to get this procedure. Actually, this wasn't the last day. Or maybe it was. They wanted me to have that scan. So, I talked to her and her mom, kind of give them some insight. We talk about some resources. Oh my gosh, I think I'm going to have to sit down for just a little bit, because it feels amazing outside, but my stomach is just so crampy. This is probably dangerous because I'm like right on the side of the road. So I'm going to get up in 2 seconds, but I need to take a break because I'm hurting. So this is probably a bad idea. Not really, but kind of. Anyway, so I talked to her. We shared some resources, change information. So I've kind of been in touch with her. But I want to do this because I want to be able to talk to more people and reach more people about what this journey can look like, or at least let them know what my journey looks like. And they can getting back up, take whatever parts of my journey and, use it and apply it to theirs. So, like, I was sharing to her, like, some of the things that I didn't do last time after I had transplant, or during, like, the time I was in the hospital, that I'm going to do now, which is try to walk more. I try to be careful about my eating, but sometimes I just want comfort food. And I'm kind of still in that rut right now because I just got out of the hospital. So I've eaten a little more comfort food than I want and would have liked to. So across the street, I'm almost home. Thank goodness, because I'm getting right in the bed. But yeah, like talking more about that, my journey. Like I said before, when I do more of these, like, I'm gonna start taking videos. I'm gonna have to set reminders because, like I said, I'm starting chemo next week. So we'll talk about what that looks like and how it makes me feel this time. You'll get to meet some of my team, the people that take care of me. And then you'll get to meet some of my family, and I'll talk to them. I'll probably come up with questions to ask them. So if this is a family member, supporting someone, then they kind of have an idea of like what this could look like for them. So that's really all I want to say for today, because like I said, I don't want to talk, like I can be chatty so much. Obviously I'm not feeling the greatest right now. Like I said, my stomach is just crampy, I guess. I have to be at next week. Like I said, I start chemo, so Monday starts back to me being at Vanderbilt every day. So I don't know if if you follow me on Facebook, I said literally my team is gonna be like, what in the heck? Because once we hit remission, and this time I'm speaking into existence, I will hit remission. I'm having a party in that place. I don't know what this party is gonna look like, but it's gonna be a little miniature turn up. Not disrupting others, but it's gonna be a turn up. So I'm back at home. I'm gonna go in, but that's all. Talk to you soon.